Welcome back to the channel, everyone.
Come on, what are you talking about, people?
Oh my God, Spurs.
We're on the way to Bilbao, bruv.
Tottenham are in a European final. How good does that sound? How good does that sound? With an absolutely professional performance against Bodø Glimt. Their fortress, let's be honest, you know, they've done so well there this season. Haven't lost a home game in ages. I don't know the stats and I don't care. All I know, they've done well, and we've gone there and we've beat them on their own patch, and we've put in a professional performance and we've done really well. Look, all I'm going to ask you for tonight is to smash that like button if you like the fact that Tottenham got through. If you're watching, please do it. It's free and it really helps the channel out. We're live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So please get involved and tell us how you're feeling as a Spurs fan right now. Before I get into it with a guest, let's show you. Well, oh no, that's Manchester United. I do apologise. That's actually well, Manchester United are in the final. Let's deal with that first. Manchester United won the other leg 4-1 against an Athletic Club. We're going to be playing Manchester United for the 4th time this season. We'll come on to that later. But of course, Tottenham won 2-0 in Bodø with Dominic Solanke and Pedro Porro notching for us the match facts and stats. Bodø Glimt. Bodø actually had more possession than us, 68.8 to Tottenham's 31.2. 7 shots for Bodø, 8 for Spurs. Shots on target, 2 for Bodø and 3 for Tottenham. So our most of all season, but God, did we make them count tonight. Touches inside the box, 12 for Bodø, 15 for Tottenham. Keeper saves, 1 to Bodø, 2 for Spurs. Fouls, 8 to Bodø, 10 for Spurs. And corners, 3 for Bodø and 8 for Tottenham. Let's bring on the guests, shall we? Ricky J. Norwood is back with us. Ricky, how are you? Okay. Ricky is lagging, I think.
Mate, I am buzzing, mate. I am absolutely buzzing. Mate, come on, man. Come on. We're in a final after this crazy season. Oh no!
You're well behind, Rick. You're well behind. All right.
Oh come on!
Ricky's going to go and sort his Wi-Fi out again.
Oh no!
Matt, let's come to you. How are you? How are you feeling? Good start.
Craig, I am feeling fantastic. I was quietly confident. I really was, because I don't think that they had enough quality overall to really stand with us. And it's not just like us pooping on a smaller league or anything like that. I just think that we shown like an ability to just do exactly what we wanted in that first leg. And that's exactly what we wanted to do in the second leg. We just did exactly what we wanted to do. We nullified their threats. We allowed them sterile possession. How many guys, I think we could all talk about this. How many times have we seen those stats being the opposite way? We being the one with the 70% possession and getting nicked 2-0. It's great to finally put in like a really nice professional job over 2 legs, and it's just, I feel so good, man. I feel like a kid. You got like after you get that first kiss, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm really pumped. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And we're playing United again for the 4th time. Well, this is unprecedented. How many teams do we play 4 times in a season? Like,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. And just for the record, European final appearances this season, Spurs 1, Arsenal 0. Blake, coming on to you. How are you feeling?
Oh, legends. How are we? Honestly, great to have everyone's company wherever you are watching around the planet. It's great to interact with so many fans from around the world. But we are up and about. We say it here in Australia, LFG. Let's go.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get into the analytics of today. But as Barney Gumble from The Simpsons once said, just hook it to my veins. But seriously, just euphoria right at the end there. And wow, we're in a final. We're going to Bilbao with a very, very, very good chance of silverware and breaking that 40-year drought. So couldn't be more ecstatic and in esteemed company. So great to be with you guys.
Absolutely. I'm not sure Ricky's back with us. I think he may have frozen. While Ricky sorts out his bits and pieces, a quick message from Chris about a new app you can download.
Hi everyone, before we get into it, I'd just like to tell you about a brand new app. It's called Match Bingo. You can play along with live sports and Spurs matches, and you could win cash prizes. Watch your card fill up in real time whilst watching Tottenham. Make sure that you get your bingo card for our next game. Click on the link in the description or via the QR code. Real sports, real bingo, great prizes. Enjoy.
And I can honestly say that is a very, very good app. So do get your cards, and I'm sure you'll fill them all up because Tottenham matches are never short of incidents. Ricky's still not back with us. So, Matt, let's come to you. What were your thoughts on the game this evening?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I took down a lot of notes. I kind of just went by like a 5-minute clip. I kind of took down a lot of notes about all these big points. So I think we started off right. We started the right way. We put our right foot out there. I mean, Richie had a chance within the second minute, which kind of set the tone. I think we pressed him high. We forced him into a lot of loose touches. That's what I noticed. And it was great. We basically just kind of like nullified them. Kind of just that first 20 minutes, it was great because we just kind of just let their crowd get crazy, but didn't allow them anything. We just kept them in their half, pressed them at the right time. You know, it's funny. There was a lot of articles about them and them speaking specifically about our press. And I think they used a number of like very colorful terms to express how they felt about it. But I think I'm not sure if they realized like we were pressing them in a different way to like, we didn't want to go full bore. And so of course we're not going to really show our hand. I mean, we'll press when we need to press. And that was more about it. We allowed them what we wanted to give them. I mean, you know, there really wasn't too many chances. I think the only thing I saw, we had a free kick in that first half. That was from Poro shot. That was the only attempt we had in the first half, but it was okay because at the same time, we kind of kept them at arm's length. It really was interesting during the whole game. And I will give Ange, I will give the coaching staff, I will give the players their flowers because I didn't think that they were actually capable of having a disciplined performance. You know, there's always like the thing in the back of your head where like, is Romero going to like take somebody out just for the hell of it? And just, we're down a man or something, just something boneheaded. But I think we really did exactly what we wanted to do. We like really muddied up that first half on a plastic pitch. So it's not really muddy, I guess. But then, you know, when we came out in that second half, we pressed at the right times again. We won a silly corner. And the best is that was a corner that we forced them into. I think it was like a back pass and the goalkeeper couldn't control it. And like he knew and he was frustrated and he kicked it like almost straight up, I think. And right there, I actually wrote like, I was like, forced a silly corner. And then of course my next sentence is big Dom. But yeah, it was just, we did exactly what we wanted to do. And we played the game that we intended to, and we had the strengths to do. So it was fantastic to see, fantastic game management. It was funny every time, every couple of seconds in the second half, I was like, somebody go down with a cramp, go down with a cramp, you know, like, hey, Vicario, go down with a cramp, you know, that they give it like 3 minutes for that one, muddy it up, do those dark arts things, do those things that we've gotten nailed on so many times, like in those Chelsea finals where we played, where we played Mourinho, where we played these other teams that are just more adapt to playing European football and this knockout brand of football. So it was just such a great watch. At times not very great for my heart, but I think overall we really kept them at arm's length. I can't stress this enough. I think their overall XG was 0.43. It's like, and everyone is saying, the plastic pitch contributes to a 2-goal lead. It's like they have a 2-goal start. And it was like, from what I saw when we kicked off, it was 0-0. And then when we kicked off in the second half, it was 0-0 as well. So I don't know about that. I think we went there and had a very professional performance and hats off to the players, the coaching staff, everybody, and that fan base that was up there. Oh my God, that was great. That was so great to see them. And Chris is Chris is probably enjoying his head off right over there. I mean, I think we're all so jealous of him, but fantastic performance. Can't be happier.
Yeah, it certainly was. Blake, what's your thoughts on tonight's game?
Super professional performance all around, to be honest with you guys. It was just like, it's so well managed the whole game from start to finish. And I think it's been said on so many shows throughout this season that when things go wrong, you know, Ange cops a lot of slack, he cops a lot of criticism, all those kinds of things. He got it absolutely spot on tonight. I thought it was great that he actually went with Rishi again, starting him, getting an hour into him, because he was so electric in that the first leg to sort of set the tone. So, full credit goes to everyone involved, the players to stay that professional for 90 minutes, knowing the job at hand, and it was just fantastic play all around. Matt touched on the dark arts. We've gotten done so many times in games from not doing that, or from falling victim of it and holding the ball for 70% of the time, but then, you know, going down 1 or 2-0 in a game. And that's happened so many times throughout our campaign, not so much in Europe, but certainly Premier League. So I think tonight was just such a professional performance. When Big Dom put it in the back of the net in the second half, I thought, here we go. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It was touch and go. We were told about the plastic pitch all week, about how hard it was going to be in the Arctic Circle, and the amount of times the commentary team said it, that the Arctic Circle, it's tough conditions and all that sort of stuff. They were unbeaten in 2025 until tonight at their home ground. So that is just an incredible effort to go there and get a result 2-0 and just play smart football to get ourselves to a final and to end this drought. So absolutely ecstatic, and I thought our performance was top notch.
Absolutely. Well said, Blake. Well said. Ricky, are you back with us? I think he is.
I hope so, mate. Am I back?
You certainly are. How did you...
You know,
Fantastic.
I thought, let me shut it all down now before me trying 14 different things. I thought, let me just shut it all down and reboot the whole thing and see if that works. So we're back.
Excellent.
The Gooners tried
nice.
to shut me down, bruv, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We're back.
You've been hacked. Rick, what were your thoughts on the game tonight?
Mate, more so than anything, and more importantly so, is that we showed up tonight. We showed up tonight. There's been so many things that have been questioned about our football, our manager, the players, commitment, desire. Everything's been questioned this year, but you know, we've had it as Tottenham fans for years. We've been questioned as a side, and we know we bear the scars of all of those nights where we should have won and we didn't, or we just didn't turn up at all, and we let another side just trample over us. We just gave them the incentive to win, or we kicked ourselves in the backside and we'd get 2 red cards, a penalty, you know, we'd concede a penalty and and a free kick but we'd do it to ourselves. We'd be the masters of our own downfall. But tonight, you know, and over these European nights, but tonight and last week was a moment that these boys showed up, not just for themselves, but for this club and for this manager. And they showed us with everything that they have, regardless of the tidal wave of negative results that we've had, for whatever reason they may be, the fact is that they are still there. And the fact is that they have been hurt from it, but they've continued to stand. They've continued to lift their head. They've continued to fight. And even in the noise amongst us fans, half of us think one thing and the other half think another thing. And then there's arguments amongst us and there's arguments with the team. And yet these boys still stood. And tonight was just rewards for them. We shouldn't have conceded that goal last week at the end, but we had to concede it just to be Tottenham and just to give us something to worry about. This plastic pitch, yes, you could see that it did have an effect. It looked like carpet. It looked like they were running in sand sometimes. And you could see, not just forget the bounce of the ball, but there were creases in that pitch. It looked like carpet at times. The commentator mentioned that it looked like a Sabutio table, which I wholeheartedly agreed. They you know, so it was a very difficult pitch. You could see every time that there was a cross, if the ball bounced and missed its man, and it zipped off for a throw in or stuff like that. So, you know, it wasn't. It started off not as a classic because I think more so for us fans, because we've all got those scars and we've got the nerves and stuff like that. But the boys did handle it professionally. For us, it was nervy. For us, we couldn't get things going. For us, I felt that, you know, that Basuma and Richarlison didn't have the greatest of halves in that moment. They couldn't get the bounce of the ball. We couldn't run 3 passes to kind of get something going. And so you give them the incentive, and as a Tottenham fan, you kind of sitting there going, you know, they're gonna get a dodgy one, aren't they? It's just gonna happen. You can feel it in your gut. But I tell you what, I had all the confidence in them, bro. It was, you know, I wouldn't be Tottenham if I didn't feel that at some stage. But I had every confidence that we was going to do it. Even if we did go a goal down, I knew that we was going to do it. I just knew it. I could feel it in the bones. I could feel it in those players. Look at Bentancur tonight. Bentancur was every single where. He was everywhere tonight. He made sure that he was one of those key instruments in not only, you know, creating, but also that defensive shield, you know, that Højbjerg role that we've missed for so long. You can see once he's had a run of games and once he's got confidence in his legs and in his knees to turn and play the way that he does, you've seen he controlled the midfield for us and helped out that defense. You know, it was a performance where, like, that first half was rocky, but it was 0-0. It wasn't anything classic or Ange Ballish about it. But the second half attitude, you know, was immense. I give Basuma as an example of that. First half, I thought he was that Basuma that gave the ball away and couldn't hold on to it for us and couldn't break up play and was looking a bit lost at times. But second half, he was immense. He was everywhere. He was blocking, he was passing, he was moving, he was creating the momentum. He was trying to make openings as well as help out Bentancur in the defensive side as well. And you saw the attitude from the players. And how many nights, Tottenham boys, how many nights Tottenham fans around the world have we been on the wrong end of this type of result? Do you know what I mean? Against a team where technically we should win. You know, yes, there's conditions, but we play in the Premier League. We play in the toughest conditions all year round. Do you know what I mean? We have more games than anybody. You've got to be battle hardened to be in the Premier League and to do something. So yes, there were conditions, but I just saw them just go out there and make it happen. As soon as that second half started, I could tell within their body language. I was like, all right, cool, we can switch on now. We allowed Bodø to do what they needed to do. They were always going to come out fit and firing and up for it. The whole town, they had royalty in tonight. Do you know what I mean? They had the UEFA lot in tonight. They had their own royalty in tonight. You know, I saw a guy on TalkSport. He basically traded £189 worth of dried fish for a ticket for tonight, right? You know, did you see those people in the apartments overlooking the stadium tonight that paid stupid money to go in there and be a part of this tonight? It meant so much for Bodø tonight. It meant so much for the country. It was something where they was recognized, you know, as a footballing side nation, and come to that part of the world in a semi-final of the Europa League. They had everything. They had all the energy behind them. As we've seen in Chris's videos, there's flags everywhere. As soon as you leave the stadium, airport, within the airport, as soon as you leave the airport, it's there. It's a Bodø town. People are going crazy to get those tickets. So we weathered the storm. But the attitude of the boys in that second half, my goodness, the attitude of them wanting to fight for a clean sheet, you know, the Romero and Van der Ven, my goodness, it's just, oh man, you know, there was just Pedro Porro. People, you know, I've heard some fans say that they'd be happy to sell him. Are you mental? Are you mental? That guy never stops running, never stops working. He's been running to the ground. We've been allowed recently to give him a bit of a rest, but my gosh, his delivery. Yes, okay, cool. He's not 100% on the defensive side, you know, but look at what Trent Alexander's doing right now. He's gone to Real Madrid and he's not the best defender. Or, you know, he can defend, but he's not the best. We've got a diamond in Pedro Porro. Yes, it was a cross, but we've got a diamond in him. Look at that free kick today. that I just, oh mate, we're through. I'm buzzing. I love this. You know, I was confident, I believed, and I'm just happy that we're at the other side. That's what's most important. We go there now. We go to Bilbao with everything. We get to believe for the rest of the season. We can get behind something. We can throw away all of the rubbish negativity. We can throw it away, man. We don't need it. We don't need it. We're going to a final, a European Cup final. And some people talk about Champions League. Champions League is the cherry on the cake. What we want is that trophy. What we want is that trophy. We want to lift that trophy. That trophy means more to all of us than what that Champions League is. Champions League is a very nice cherry, but it's that trophy that we're after. It's the difference between us and Man United right now. And that's why we will be lifting it come May 21st or whenever it is. Come on, Spurs. We deserve it, man.
I'll tell you what, Rick, it's funny because this is the quickest I've ever seen my Spurs calendar. If anybody's got the Spurs calendar in their phones, probably can't see that, but no, you can't see it. It's about, but sorry about that. You just can't see it. My light's too bright, but they've updated it to put the final in the Spurs calendar. So if you've got that, check your phones. It's already in there for the 21st of May. Whoever does that was bang on it tonight. So well done. Question from Stu Miller, Rick, just staying with you for a sec. Question for the panel. Ange has taken most of the stick for our league position. Will he get most of the credit for getting us to the final? It's a valid point, isn't it? Because for me, I'm so pleased, apart from anything else, for Ange Postecoglou tonight, because he has taken a lot of stick. We've discussed him on this channel many, many times. I know Blake is a big supporter of Ange. Matt, apologies, I can't remember where you've landed with Ange, but Ricky, you've always been a big supporter. I've kind of wavered a bit, I must be honest, but I've never completely come on and said Ange out. I just think I was just so happy for him that he's got us this far. And you know, some people won't like it, but if we do win that final, he's going to go down in Tottenham folklore, Rick, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's we ain't there yet, so we can't go crazy. But tonight was down to Ange. You know, look at those tactics. He had those boys set up. The fact that he didn't want to go crazy and make the pitch an issue, you know, it was something for us fans to worry about. But as we was on last week, I was on last week. Sorry, Craig, I thought you was there. Sorry, mate. But you know, Gareth was talking about the plastic pitch, and I asked him, I said, you know, would you just take the first team and practice on that all week? And he was just like, no, because, and he said that there are different surfaces, there's different dimensions and stuff like that, but at the same time, it can almost become a factor where you worry about it too much and you forget about playing your football in that sense. So, all right, cool. You know, the boss backed that up during the week. But he went out and managed that side. Look, he took off Johnson as well at one point to bring on Sarr to solidify the midfield and get us over the line. Some people have been saying that they wanted us to be a bit more conservative and hold on and do certain things. I've argued all season that he's been doing these things. He's tweaked. Sometimes he's over tweaked, and we've lost Ange. We haven't seen it no more. And you're like, what's going on? And that's when we're all flabbergasted. But that's been the biggest performances that we've kind of hated. You know, it's when there hasn't been an element of that. He has tweaked. He has played with formation. He has played with the midfield. He has played with the defence. You know, the defence 3 at the back at Everton was unsuccessful, and I don't really want to, you know, at this point to revisit that right now, just because it just felt like we was all over the place. But he has done these things. So credit where credit is due, Tottenham. My goodness. You know, I heard some pundits last week, and I think it was Troy Deeney that shut it down on TalkSport. But somebody said, like, it's not down to Ange, it's down to the players. The players have had enough of Ange, and so they've taken it upon themselves to put in that performance last week. And I'm like, wow, man, like, they really don't want to give him anything. Because this man stands up, not only for himself, but for us fans and us as a club in the press. Those press can't wait to dig him out. They cannot wait to dig him out. This is why I watch the full press conferences. When he does a press conference, I watch the full press conference because I don't rely on the papers no more because of their headlines and their opinion on what he said before he said it. They don't give us context of what question was asked and stuff like that. And when I've seen it, I kind of go, well, of course his response was that, because you asked him that in the way that you asked him. Of course he said that, right? You know, I think it was, I'm not sure, I'm not 100%, but he said Matt, I think it was last week. I think it was Matt Law. I'm going to guess it was Matt Law. But there was a question from Matt Law within the press conference, was like, Ange, are you superstitious? Because the last person, and it, you know, Ange said he's not really down for that, but he goes, the last person that won something at Tottenham, this is a paraphrase, I can't remember everything, but it was a dig. It was like the last person that won something at Tottenham ended up getting the sack straight afterwards. And like, how do you feel about that? And what a diggy, nasty, in the ribs type of question. What are you supposed to do with that? How many times has he said that he's had to answer a question being like, and if you don't win tonight, do you think that's your job? What type of question is that?
So lazy.
Pressure,
Lazy, isn't it?
But it's
target.
been repeated. It's been repeated. Like, people talk about him biting back, but thank goodness he bit back. Like, I'm happy what he done yesterday as well. In the press conference yesterday, he was speaking, and he stuck up for us about this. You know, Wenger talking about you shouldn't get Champions League for winning this trophy. And thank goodness, there's only been a couple to have ever said it, manager-wise. Poch was another one, and the other one was Mourinho, that called it out when they saw it. The amount of like different energy, stroke hate, stroke, you know, like, let's diminish something that Tottenham have achieved, like within the press. And he called it out with this woman. Ange said, when you mention Tottenham, people go crazy. The reporter said, so can you expand on why Tottenham make you go crazy? And he was like, Tottenham doesn't make me go crazy. Like, and then he had to go on to explain again, right? So it's all of these jabs, man. He's dealt with it. He's taking it on the chin. And yes, he's bit back. And yes, he stood up for us, because that remark, what he said there, is something that I felt. That every time that we do something, when we finished second, it was diminished. When we finished in the Champions League, it was diminished. When we had a side, you know, full of young prospects going forward, it was diminished. Anything that we've done, Pochettino was diminished up until Mourinho got the sack at Man United. And then the commentators on Sky Sports was going, don't you think Pochettino would be a great manager for Man United? Even though the week before there was like, but Pochettino hasn't won anything, you can't call him a great manager, which was the week before. It's happened many a time, Tottenham. You know it, I know it, right? It might sound paranoid, but tell me I'm not resonating. Fans at home around the world, tell me I'm not resonating. So he's took it on the chin, he's called it out, and he stood up. And not only that, he's kept his head amongst this madness, this tornado of a terrible storm. I was going to swear, I'm not going to. Scheiße storm. I'll say it in German. This volcano of Scheiße storm. You know what I mean? Like, it's been horrendous, but he's kept his head. He's kept his heart, and he's kept fighting for us. And I've seen these boys, even though sometimes they have failed, I've seen them stand for him. I've seen them play for him. So at this moment, when they've done tremendously well, pat him on the back. All right, he might not be your manager come the summer. You might have something to say. You might have something to say when this season ends. But let's not talk about it again until this season ends. Give him something. Give him some credit for, even though we're finishing terribly low in that Premier League, which is a disgusting place to be, the amount of games that we've lost for reasons, you know, is a disgusting place. You can't account for that. But look, give him some credit where credit is due. He done it against Frankfurt away, where he controlled that game. They had another formidable home record. Dealt with them. You know what I mean? Like, we've come back. You know, we've come back and we've shown so much again, and through so much adversity, through so much brim and fire and brimstone and hail and I don't know what. We keep going forward. These boys have proven so much. The second team that have had to step up, the young ones that have had to step up, and now some of the seniors that have had to step up because the young ones have established themselves. And then now we're missing someone like Bergvall, you know, like, so now the seniors have got to step. Everybody's stepped up at points. Yes, there have been disappointing performances. Yes, I can name a couple. Of course there has. But when it's come down to it, we've got it now. We're at a final, you know. By the time we get there, we're gonna be fit and firing and ready for this. And nobody, and I don't care, I really don't care. Nobody deserves it more than us, guys. Nobody. No, I don't care. Man United, Ten Hag just won the FA Cup, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? They've just won the other day, you know. So regardless of their problems, I don't care. Nobody deserves it more because we want that trophy. It's not the prize that we want. We want that trophy. Every single fan, the manager, and every single one of those players want that trophy, not the cherry that comes on top of the cake. So you got to give him credit for getting us there. We're there, man. Come on.
Absolutely, yeah. And for the first time ever, I think there's going to be 6 teams guaranteed to be in the Champions League next season. So, and you would think with English teams' performances this season that there's going to be 5 places in the Champions League at the end of next season as well, because the coefficient's got to be right up there, even with Arsenal letting the whole of the country down by crashing out and not having an English representative in the UEFA Champions League final. But never mind.
Je ne comprends pas, Craig Dimon.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Ricky's right though. It's about that big shiny piss off trophy. What are you gonna say now? I don't care what comes with it. Nothing could come with it. Hell, it could just be the trophy. Just give me that trophy so we could throw it in everyone's friggin' faces. Oh, Chelsea, how's your season going? Oh, you might get a Conference League? Ooh, that's awesome. How's this? Hey, Arsenal, you got knocked out. Oh, you don't even have a League Cup or anything. Oh, that's so sad. Liverpool, great season, but we got a European trophy. I mean,
Matt,
sounds great.
I know you said you made the sort of wavering when I asked about Ange. The question, I'm going to ask you this question. If we win, does he stay next season for you?
You know, I think that should be up to the man himself. He's put up with a lot of stuff this year. Ricky hit on it, and it's really just the history of the media and the way Spurs are portrayed. It's just like, when we do something nice, like they say, it's like, oh, little old Spurs, look, oh, you're so sweet. That's so cute. Oh, that's so nice. But go back to your place. And now that, you know, like we're kind of in our place, you know, in 17th place, 16th place, having a very poor league season, I think they use that to beat him. But at the same time, you know, this is 14 games into a knockout tournament. Does anybody really fathom that? Like 14 games. How many other 14-game knockout tournaments are there? The old Champions League tournaments, I don't even think were that many. Let's see, 6. They were 13 in total if you got to the final. So, I mean, you got to give the man some credit at this. So I think at the end of the day, if he wins the trophy, I think we should want him back. And I think we would want him back. But at the same time, the man should be allowed to do what he wants to do. This has been a really, it seems like they've just had their knives out for him. And I just feel like no matter what happens, I feel like the way they would twist it, they would just twist it. And no matter what success we have, I think they would just constantly beat on him about it. But I would love for him to stay because there's been so much talk about him not adapting, and you could see in this European campaign that he's had to adapt. He's changed certain things, and throughout the season he's changed, even in the league. Yes, and like Ricky pointed out, there's been some tough games that we've been really smacked around in. The Everton, you know, we put out the wrong formation. Sometimes it's because of, you know, injuries or suspensions or whatever it is. But you know, some things have worked, some things have not. You could see that when we do try to play some kind of Ange, you could see it in bits and pieces. It is still there, but when you lose so many important cogs in it, it is very difficult to play a fluid type of football that we intend to play. So, but at the end of the day, I think he should stay if we do win, because I think it's a good springboard. It's a nice building block, and maybe it really will finally like rid us of these ghosts, of these horrible like Spursies things, like these wicked bad luck things that have happened to us, that have happened to only us, you know. And build on that. Like, really have a nice foundation. Ricky's right. United just won. They don't need another trophy. Come on, they always win trophies. I mean, even I got a friend of mine, yeah, and he's a United fan, and he was complaining to me. He's like, yeah, in these last 10 years, it's been really rough for us. I'm like, last 10 years, didn't you guys win like 4 or 5 trophies in that time? Like a couple FA Cups, like a Europa League, and all these things. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, but we're United, and I'm like, like I feel like my head is just gonna explode, and I'm like, that, like, I'm a Tottenham fan, like I'm likely to throw you out the window if you say these things. Like, give me a break. It's our turn, and I think like Ricky said, and I think like a lot of fans believe, I think we got the momentum. I think it's on us to really just get it over the line at this point. And then Ange fully deserves the backing. He deserves our support. And to be honest, he deserves a lot of flowers from everybody. And the critics better just be like, you know what, Ange, we're sorry. We're sorry. They never will. But Ange, we're sorry for doubting you. You always win things on your second year.
That would be amazing. That would be, I know it's going to be clipped either way. It's going to be clipped if we don't, and it's going to be clipped if he does. Blake, I know I don't really need to ask you. I think everybody knows your opinion on Ange. You've been steadfast in your resolve about how Ange should be not only backed, but trusted to get us over the line. Do you want to add anything on that before we move on to the team lineups?
Yeah, I would say he falls victim of being the easy target because he bites back. And the journalists know every time that he's got something to say about it. And I think what Spurs fans have to remember as well is whenever there's criticism on him or the team not playing well or all those kinds of things, journalists would be rubbing their hands together because they're going in with fish bait every single time. Every single time they're going to go in, reel the fish. Right, we've got Ange here. Let's go. Let's get him railed up. He hates losing, blah, blah. Admittedly, could probably handle those situations a little better in press conferences, but at the same time, do feel that we get attacked even when we do well. So the only thing I would say back is I believe that he should be backed, but at the same time, I would say that there's every chance that he would walk at the end of the season because of how things have gone, how he's been treated by the press in particular, I would say. And that's a real shame because we're building something really special with a really special group of players. And league form aside, I don't want to get into the league form because we know how tough it's been in the league. We've been we've had players out, we've had players coming back in. But I truly believe that he was the one that took it when nobody else wanted it after Conte's departure. And he's built something. We've got the players in that we needed. We had a poor run of injuries throughout the season. And yet we made a semi-final in the EFL Cup, and we're now in a final in Spain amidst all that chaos. So I think we've got to give him a chance to take the Europa League. And I think, as Matt said, it's got to be his decision whether he stays or goes. But adding on to that as well, good luck to any manager coming in with the constraints that our ownership put us under. It's a continuous cycle either way. So he's damned if he does. He's damned if he do, and he's damned if he don't. So that's my thoughts on it. But I think let him lift that trophy. He wins something in his second season, mate. So why not? Let's go for it and have a good one.
It's amazing how you do the Australian accent so well, Blake. I like it. Thank you to Rhythm 2671 for your second donation tonight. Thank you very much. Question, Blake, actually to stay with you, because this is kind of what you was talking about. Considering few players having their first season with us, and if they all win together, will the team be more stronger next season with Ange? I know, okay, we kind of covered it, but do you think that would be the case? They surely have to improve the squad and bring in the players, perhaps ready-made players, I'm going to say.
I think that's what we're lacking, to be honest. The last summer transfer window was going after talent and youth and talent that we can develop. But now I think it's about getting a couple of established players in. We've always had this discussion in these chats about we just feel like we're one or two players short every window, every single window. And maybe this is the window where a couple go out. Obviously, there's speculation around a couple of key players that might move on, but it might be time to bring a couple of really established players in and go for it. Who that is, it's still to be determined. I think you've got to work that out depending on who departs. But if you're gonna back him, let's fully back him, or let's fully back in this squad to go ahead and do something really special. As someone said in the comments earlier too, there were 5 or 6 games that he had to integrate the starting 11 back into the squad and get them ready for a Europa campaign. Once we got knocked out of all the other competitions, once we knew that we weren't going to get a Champions League spot in the Premier League, he had 5 matches to integrate them. And now he's got to work on rotating. Obviously, there's only there's 3 games left of the Premier League season. So maybe it is now, let's use this to build what we're trying to do and to try and lift a trophy and just prepare our squad as best we can. Or you can go the other way and try and wrap them in cotton wool. But there's so many factors to come into it. But I think we can't get away from the absolute euphoria of today as well. I think that's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick, let's come to you with the lineup. I don't think there's much really we can say about this lineup. It's kind of the one we all expected, I would say. I see people nodding there. It was Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Romero, Van der Ven, and Udogie make up the back 4. Bentancur, Bissouma in the middle, Johnson, Kulusevski, Richarlison, and then Solanke up front, with the only change from the first leg being Kulusevski coming in for the injured James Maddison. Rick, any surprises in there for you, or is it pretty much what you was expecting?
No, pretty much what I was expecting, especially after last week, mate. Bentancur and Bissouma done so well last week as well, so we could see that happening, especially with Maddison and Bergwijn out. For me, Johnson's been our top goal scorer in the league, and I think, I'm not sure in Europe as well, but yeah, so he was always going to play. We needed Kulu back, and we needed fit and firing. So of course he's going to take the creative role in behind Solanke, and Richie being the kind of the hybrid winger. So if Johnson's the back post guy, that's going to get a tap in or a shot on the back post, or running into that. Well, then if you're crossing from the right-hand side and it's Porro, then you've got 2 heading targets, really. You've got Richie and Solanke, who can head the ball and either set something up or have a shot on goal. For me, Richie didn't have his best game. I felt that he found it really difficult. Maybe it was the surface as well, because it did look like they was running in sand, and he did look very slow and off the pace from the beginning of the game for me. But you know what I did notice as well about that pitch, it was very hard to turn. It looked like it was very hard to turn. So some of these players who turn on a sixpence, right, who turn on the toe, like Maddison, for example, it's hard to do that on that surface. You've almost got to run. If you're turning with the ball, it looks like you've almost got to do it in a square. It's almost like you've got to take 3 steps to get the ball round rather than just turn in one go. Or like open your hips and use your body to turn. So it didn't look natural. So there were certain things with Richie's game that I kind of thought, okay, maybe that had, some effect on it. But yeah, it was the starting lineup that I felt was going to start the game and get us over the line. But I will say to you, just a quick thing, bro. I know I've spoken about Ange many a time, but the one thing about Ange, and whether we back him or not, or whatever the case may be, is that he loves to prove people wrong. Loves a doubter. In fact, doubters, I think, kind of turn him on a little bit. I think he gets a buzz from it, honestly. I swear to you. Because if you look, and Blake, please, tell me if I'm wrong. Throughout his career, there's been a tidal wave of people that doubted him throughout. And I think proving those people wrong and getting them to shut their mouth and getting them to end up praising what he's doing, you know, I think that is a buzz for him. I think if you look from the club's perspective, whether those that like it or not, and I do have issues with the board and how they treated January, especially in the situation that we was in. You know, they're not. We know the mistakes that the board pull out, but they stuck with Ange. You know, November was a really tough month. December was a really tough month. January, before the transfer windows opened, and you go, well, do we stick with this guy? We're still in a couple of competitions. Do we give him the money? What do we do here? They stuck with him, you know, and we got through that January and we got a couple in. And, you know, I said at that point, we would always be chasing our tail when it came down to injuries, because soon as somebody comes back from injury, the ones that were running to the ground, that's when you saw them break, and then they were off for 4 weeks. And then we just had a cycle of that. So that's how it's kind of been. And we've had freak accidents as well. We've had viruses that no other team have had this year. And but the club have backed him. I think that they've seen that the boys are back in his way and the way that he wants to play football. And I think that is healthy, because in a sense of that, we haven't seen that in such a long time. We can look back over history and you can kind of go, Mourinho's time, that was kind of 50-50, right? You could tell that Sonny and Kane like to be under him, but I'm not sure about Doherty or Serge Aurier or, you know, or Dyer. I think Dyer loved him at times, and then Dyer was in, but you could tell it was just a bit comme ci, comme ça. Nuno, for about 3 games, it looked like the boys were behind him. But then after that, it looked like they did not want to play that way. And I remember looking at games just going, oh my gosh, what's going on here? You know, and yes, Nuno's had a good season, but for us, it was not working. And so this guy's come in and he's had to deal with a lot. He's had to deal with a lot of transition and a lot of changing, moving parts. You know, rebuild this squad a couple of times over. We've still got players that we need to get rid of from previous regimes. You know, we still got, for instance, Sergio Reguilon, who's still there and has been used this year in a Tottenham shirt, which has been great. I never had nothing against Sergio, but obviously he's not wanted at the club. But still, we've had to use him because that's the circumstances we've been under. That still need to go out. Brian Hill, you know, there's a ton, and then there'll be 2 or 3 that we need to kind of move on from the first team so that we can improve and step up. So this guy has taken the reins of that, and through all the adversity, he has got us here. I think it would be massive for him to win that and then go, let me show you what I can do, not only in the league, but in the Champions League. Now, whether that's your thing or not, I would say don't make the decision, don't answer the question until that last game is done, until that final has been played, until that everything is done and dusted. Then ask your heart and your stomach, what do you want for next season? So I would say don't answer it until then. But, I mean, he would love it. I feel that he would love being in the Champions League with Tottenham. He would love proving the whole league that laughed at us this season, that mocked us this season, that mocked him this season. He would love to shove it all down their throats and then prove it again in Europe, in the Champions League, and see where that takes us. I think he would absolutely love it. I think he would be buzzing next year. Yes, even the fans. He's had that. If you read his book, he's had that from the fans that doubted him as well at times. Even the fans. I don't think he blames us for doubting him. I think he understands that with results like we've had, that doubt comes with that because he's a football man. But I saw him in that press conference yesterday saying to that lady, do you know what I mean? I love proving people wrong. And I saw that smile on his face. Do you know? And that gave me a buzz as a Tottenham fan, going, my manager's there and he wants to fight for me. I don't know how many managers that come in that want to do that. Do you know what I mean? That really want to fight for me, the fan, and this badge. Some fight for the pay packet. Some fight for their own step-ups, stepping stones and stuff like that. It's different. But I saw him want to fight for us, and I love that.
Well said, Rick. Well said. Well, Let's go on to the match incidents, actually, because we're 50 minutes in and we haven't actually spoken about what went on during the game. So it just goes to show there's always so much to talk about Tottenham. Thankfully, not much happened in the first half. It is Ricky's fault, absolutely. Look, we love you. That's what we love about Rick. Look, not much happened, as I say. Bodø chance on 8 minutes from a corner, hits the side netting. 13 minutes, great ball by Porro, crossfield to Richarlison. Probably one of the best things Richarlison did all night, in my opinion. Set up, he took the ball well, first touch out of his feet, give it to Udogie, who puts in a great cross, great cut out by the goalkeeper. 23 minutes, Porro hits a free kick that was tipped over by the goalkeeper. Matt, just talking about Porro, for you, how has he played this season? How did he play tonight? I thought he was very, very good tonight, Porro.
I thought he was very disciplined, which we usually typically don't see with him. Sometimes he comes in. A lot of the goals that we've conceded have been from crosses into deep, and a lot of times he gets sucked into the middle, and there's 2 or 3 guys. Whether that's by design. But I think he played fantastically, to be honest. And yeah, on the 23rd minute, he sent in that free kick. I think it had a minor deflection on it, but it forced the goalkeeper to put it over. And then I saw that Bodø was building a little bit, but going back to Porro, he really did play very well over these 2 legs. Actually, over this entire Europa League campaign, I haven't really seen or remember him putting in a bad performance. I mean, we as Spurs fans, I feel we tend to remember the bad performances a lot more than the good performances.
Absolutely easy. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do.
I'm sorry, yeah, but and listen, Porro has had a couple of bad performances, but I really think he's locked it down this last, over this Europa League campaign, especially during the knockout phases. I mean, during, he scored a goal versus Frankfurt, right? I think, he scored a goal in this tie. In the Frankfurt ties, he was great on that right side, completely cut down that the only problem that they had was in the first 6 minutes of the first tie. Of the first leg of that, and then the rest of it, he completely nullified that side. I think he's really done a great job. I think he truly believes in what Ange is doing, what the coaching staff is trying to build. I think he's really starting to see it, and I think the players are starting to see the fruits of these labors. All the hard work, all this running into the ground. I mean, these guys have gone through the fire. I mean, a few years back, we would talk about Pochettino and his training methods, walking over hot coals and stuff. These guys are actually walking through lava. That's what they did in November and December. And Ricky made a good point. November was rough, and we all were just oh, this is rough. Maybe December will be better. Nope, December's worse. December's worse than January, and it's tough. And the whole time, Porro's never really been injured. His performances have come up and down, but I think that's a byproduct of being run into the ground. He's the only player who hasn't gotten hurt, and because of that, by some miracle, I mean, the man's his knee ligaments, his tendons, his muscles, I mean, they must be studied, because they must be made of titanium alloy. I don't know how this man just has not been broken from these methods and these running. And you check his stats, his actual running stats, and it's extremely high, even though the tactics have changed in a bit where he's not so much getting forward and becoming a playmaking number 10 as he did in when we saw in the very beginning of Ange ball. But he's still putting in a lot of work defensively. He's making a lot of defensive actions, and he's winning a larger amount than usual of his duels. Not just his aerial duels, of course, he's kind of going to be lacking. He's not the tallest guy, but he makes up for it by being very strong on the ground. He combines very well. You guys have seen it too. He plays out of the back very well. It takes a couple of nice little touches, combined very well. There's a couple of times where I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. But yeah, I mean, Porro really has been great. at times you're like, oh, well, Spence has been doing so well this season too. Why doesn't Spence get to play? And at times I kind of feel like it's really unfair that Jed Spence is not playing in these big Europa League matches, because he's played so well at this season. But Udogie and Porro have done so well, especially lately in these ties. You can't mess with it. And again, Porro fully deserves all the credit he's gotten. He's like our only real creative player out there, especially tonight. Like, you saw that he was conducting things. He would make like little plays, like these little move it up the pitch. He was trying to make these long cross field passes. One or two would get intercepted, but it wouldn't result in like a dangerous counterattack for Bodø. So it was kind of like a calculated risk, as opposed to like this crazy, insane Ange ball. He's bombing forward. And, the goal, it's a cross shot, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just going to count as a, let me see if I got this right, a 77th minute goal. That's what it counts as, whether it's a cross shot. It could go up your belly, your boobie, your butt, whatever. I don't care. It's a goal. So Porro, I mean, I love the man. I love the man, and I love him because he's also like a warrior. You see him like get all jacked up for when he makes like a tackle, when him and Romero like butt chest. I feel like Romero's gonna butt chest him, and he's gonna fly him into like into the stands, because like the stature of the two gentlemen are so different. Porro's like this little guy, but he's pretty jacked. He's solid. So it's fantastic to see him pumped about it. It seems like he's loving it, and long may it continue. He's doing so great. I'm so happy with everything he's done, especially during this Europa League campaign. It's fantastic. I really can't say enough nice things.
Nice one. Well, not much else happened. Berg forces Vicario into an easy save, I'd say, on 31 minutes, and then right on the half, Bissouma fired over from a corner. It was a bit of it was a bloody awful shot, let's be honest. Blake, just come to you.
Yeah, it was with his weak foot. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think, let's give him credit. Or yeah, fair enough. It could have been. I'm not sure. I think it was where he was right. But never mind.
It was a really bad slice, and even the commentators, when they weren't slagging off Spurs for about for whatever reason it is now, they were like, oh yeah, it's his weak foot. So. Just got to put it out there for him.
We'll let him off. Blake, just come to you. I think most of the Spurs players tonight, you could argue, you can't really pick a man of the match. I thought Bentancur was superb, but Vicario, I just thought went through. He just did his job, didn't he? Didn't have a great deal to do. You could talk about the back line. I thought Van der Ven and Romero, just having them together is solid, and Mickey did a couple of sprints back, caught up the fellow in the first half, unbelievable pace, give him a few yards head start, and of course just breezed past him and cleared the ball. Matt's touched on Udogie there. We could go through every player, but I think everybody's kind of I would say an 8 out of 10 tonight. Perhaps Richarlison, I would be a 7. But who stood out for you tonight? Anybody in particular?
Oh, Craig, you're spot on there. It was actually really difficult to pick an individual performance out, because it was such a solidified team effort. And you look across the lineup and think to yourself, like, nobody didn't play their role. Like, everyone had a role to play in tonight's performance. Porro was great in attack, and there's been a lot of criticism about his defensive action, but I thought it was actually just as good tonight. Whether it was a cross or whether he meant to do it or not, it still goes down as a goal, as Matt said. So what I noticed as well is that centre-back pairing, Romero looks so relaxed, and he's much more measured when he's alongside Van der Ven, because he knows that Van der Ven can be there to clean up. So I think that centre-back pairing doesn't get spoken enough. It doesn't get spoken about enough. But then on like another point to add, I've come on this show before and said this as well. That back four, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, and obviously you throw Vicario in there in the sticks. They've only played just over 20 games together. And whenever they come together, it just looks outstanding. So Vicario didn't have a busy night, but he obviously was pretty solid. I think there was a decent save in there at one point. I think I have to. If I was to pick a man of the match, it would probably go to Bentancur, just being so solid in that midfield, and he's had a really good period. But you can't pick one because everyone played their role, and as you said, it was an 8 out of 10 from just about everyone. Rishi maybe down to a 7. It wasn't his best effort, but I think he definitely deserved to be in the starting 11 after his last game in the first leg. So, and played pretty well against West Ham to put up a fight for us. So, I think it was just about getting minutes in for him as well. But yeah, if I had to pick anyone, it'd be Bentancur, I'd say today. But yeah, incredible team performance.
I agree. I think Farmer Stew, I'm sure you won't mind calling him Farmer Stew. He looks like a farmer. I'm sure he's not. Romero has been immense since he's come in as captain.
He looks like a farmer, but he DJs on the weekend, Craig. Look at him. Don't he look like
you can see.
He's playing Cotton Eye Joe in the background, whatever's going on there. I don't want to know.
Look at us absolutely ripping apart the viewership.
I'm sorry, Stu. You're Spurs family.
We do. He's a long-term supporter of the channel. He's been on the fan shows. He is a top man, but he does look like a farmer. Where were we? I can't remember what we were talking about. Blake, yeah. So just quickly on Romero, do you think his performance is it's just the nicest thing anyone's ever said to him? Romero, for me, he does kind of that, having that captain's armband, essentially, he just becomes a different player, doesn't he, Romero?
He becomes just so solid. And he becomes measured. It's almost like Sonny, when he wears the captain's armband, I feel it hinders him. But then all of a sudden, Romero puts it on and it helps him. It's sort of like a bit of a boost for him every time he puts that captain's armband on. Perhaps it's the added responsibility that he gets with captaining the team and captaining the side. There's an element of leading by example in that I think that he takes on so well. And I'm not sure if Argentina have got him as captain, but I think he would be a really good leadership choice for them down the track. It just adds so much solidity when he plays really well, in my opinion. And as I said before, playing alongside Van der Ven, it brings that he breathed a sigh of relief because he knows that Van der Ven his closing speed is so good to be able to chase anything down, and if he makes a mistake, he knows he's got his back. I think players feel more relaxed if they're not under pressure to make mistakes, and maybe that's a bit of an element for Romero too. He feels that if there is a mistake there somewhere, he's going to be able to get out of it because of the back pairing. Alongside Udogie and Porre either side as well, I'm sure that makes him feel more relaxed because he knows within himself that's possibly the best 11 that we put out.
Yeah.
I think it also helps having Vicario behind him because he's so directional, and I've heard Chris talk about it on this show as well, how much he talks in goals just for the whole game. He's shouting at players, giving direction. That's what you need from everybody. Everybody's got to be on the same page, and perhaps there's just that calming element when Romero puts the captain's armband on, and there's a bit of a sense of responsibility there too. So yeah, he stepped right up. There's an argument that he was man of the match too. There's probably 3 or 4 of them that could have been tonight. But yeah, he's been outstanding since taking the captain's armband. Hopefully Sonny's back soon, by the way. I just think that the captain's armband gives him that, it gets in his own head sometimes when he has that responsibility, and he puts the team on his shoulders and says, this is, and takes the blame for everything and all that sort of stuff. So whereas Romero understands it's a big team effort. It's not just on one individual to lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on 58 minutes, there's no changes at half-time, by the way. Unusual. We've seen a lot of changes at half-time for Spurs lately, but none at all at half-time. 58 minutes of Doggy, good defending at the back. Back post prevents a certain goal. That was really good defending, actually. 60 minutes, Tell comes on for Richarlison. And on 63 minutes, Rick, almost instant impact for Tell. Talk us through this brilliant goal by Solanke.
I mean, it was definitely time, I felt at that time, for Richarlison to come off, and I was screaming for Tell to come on. And you know what? He delivered a deep, high cross, and it was the type of cross that we was asking for. It was the type of cross that we needed in this type of game. The whipping cross from a corner, as soon as it missed the man, like I was saying earlier, it hit that surface and skidded off straight away, and it was a throw-in. And this type of cross made sure that it gave more chances and more opportunity for somebody to get on it and make something happen. And so if it was a flighted ball in there, high and deep in there, and Romero picks it up, he cushions a header back to Solanke, who then swings his leg at it and buries the opportunity. Fantastic goal. Poacher's goal as well. Another one that works tirelessly for this side and tirelessly for this system. And this way of playing is Solanke. And I'm so happy that our number 9, our centre forward scored tonight, because there's been times that he's been getting criticism because he hasn't been putting it in the back of the net, even though he does a tireless, thankless job for us. He holds it up and brings people in. And, we've often said, Craig, that we need to find him a bit more and try and like get the balls into him, whether that's crosses or into his feet in the box, to have a bit more opportunity. It's mostly been for our wingers. But tonight, when that opportunity dropped, he made it happen.
Rick, you say that. Sorry to jump in there.
Go on.
Exactly, you're spot on, because obviously you can see Solanke there, number 19. And apologies for listeners on audio, but we're just showing stills of the goal. Solanke is exactly where you want to see your centre forward, because that's where the ball drops and he puts it in, isn't it?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Remember the goal against United too? Similar Poacher's goal. He's in that right position. That's exactly part of the whole ploy. Fantastic work.
And this is what a lot of us were saying about Solanke, that he is the perfect mold of a number 9 for an Ange Postecoglou system. I was arguing. I brought up the example of Bobby Firmino at Liverpool, and I never understood why Liverpool loved Bobby Firmino. I was like, this guy never scores, but I mean, always against us. But apart from that, he hardly scored, and I just didn't get it. And it was along that line that Solanke plays, where he plays a selfless, thankless role in holding that ball up and playing people in and being a nuisance and occupying defenders and creating chaos. He doesn't just run that line, that center line. How many times have we seen him out on the left? How many times have we seen him out on the right? Like think about it. I'm not chatting rubbish because I've been drinking. I swear to you, we've seen him everywhere. We've seen him. There was a point tonight where he was on the left side where Richie was supposed to be, and then he ended up giving it to Richie and then running into the box. So he's that perfect fold for Ange Ball and for the manager and for this system. And he's had his troubles. He's had his bumps and bruises along the way. He wanted to play so badly for us that he played against Leicester at the beginning of the season and was out for 3-4 weeks, and we had to wait, and then he had to get up to speed again. And then, so it's been a crazy, crazy season, but we've got to this point where Solanke can now show us what he's about. They was criticizing him in the league, and we don't need to talk about that right now. But what we need to talk about is that tonight, even against that criticism, he was still doing those dogged, thankless tasks for the team to get us over the line, and then he got his just rewards in that goal. And Romero's role in that goal shouldn't be kind of discounted or missed. Romero tonight, there's been a lot of speculation about Atletico Madrid and him leaving the side, and him moving on, and there's been questions over his loyalty ever since he's been here because of Argentina and stuff like that. I've never questioned it personally, right? Personally, me, I haven't questioned it. But when you look at his reactions tonight, when you look at how, like the gents have been saying, how he stepped up as a captain tonight, when you look at a disciplined, aggressive, intimidating performance where he's already got a yellow card from the first leg. If he gets another yellow card, then he misses out on that final. That he knew that. Do you know what I mean? With the captain's armband on, and still was able to do that. Still was able to and assist our first goal, have a hand in our first goal. And not only that, in those last 15, 20 minutes, because I tell you what, Craig, gents, Matt, Blake, and everybody around the world, I'll tell you what, as soon as Porro scored that second goal, I half stopped watching because I'm like, yo, where's the bottles? I'm texting, I'm voice noting. I'm like, yo, so the last 15, 20 minutes, right? It was like, I was half watching it because I'm like, we're going. I'm speaking to my brother, Darren Hartman. I'm like, bruv, like, what is happening? I text Chris. I said, Chris, get your backside. And I don't know the German for backside, so I'll just say backside. But I said, get your backside on this pod tonight. I said, even if it's for 5 minutes, I was like, please come. I was phoning I was like, Dad, like, I was going mental in that last. But you know what I did notice amongst all of that chaos, right, in those last 15, 20 minutes, after he scored that second goal, Romero didn't want to concede. This is the point. He switched off times in this season. He has switched off at times. He has been at fault for some of the goals that we've conceded in the league and at times this season. But Romero, he was on a mission. He was like, absolutely not are we conceding a goal. There were crosses that came in and he headed it like the ball said your mum. Like, the ball came over and was like, Romero, your mum. He said, what? And he headbutted the ball. Bruv, I'm telling you. Do you know what I mean? Romero stepped up, mate. And regardless of whoever wants to go, whoever doesn't want to be here, I don't want anybody that doesn't want to be here. After Ginola left, you know what I mean? Whoever wants to go can go. But I love people that love playing for us. And you saw how much he loved playing for us. You saw how much the clean sheet meant to us, meant to him and meant to us. You saw how much the win meant to him, meant to us. And you saw how much he was celebrating. Like Matty was saying there, he was chest bumping a slide tackle and a block. Like, come on, man. Like, don't. He's a phenomenal defender. Yes, he can be aggressive at times. But you know what? That's one thing that Tottenham always has missed over the years. Somebody that would put a foot in, somebody that would step up, somebody that would be a bit rash. And we knew when we bought him that was part of him. That's part of his genius. We've got to accept it. Yes, we want it to dampen down. Yes, we want it to be disciplined. But look at what he done tonight. More people talk about the yellow card or a rash foul than a disciplined performance that was also aggressive, that was also intimidating, that also got an assist, that also led like a leader. We talk about leaders left, right, center. He done that tonight. So regardless of what happens in the summer, let the summer come and we'll deal with it. But you can see that he wants to play for Tottenham. You can see that he wanted to win tonight and he wants to win that trophy for us and himself, but for us, because he is a winner and his history shows it. So Romero, big up yourself. Why you got that shirt on, bro? I love you to pieces, my friend. Do you know what I mean? We'll talk about the summer when the summer comes. But keep doing what you're doing. Keep playing.
I do wonder if we do win it, then if that's enough to keep Romero. But if he wants out, then you can't be keeping a player that wants to be somewhere else. I've seen a few of these comments. Angie's speech in the dressing room after the game has me believing. I'll have to watch that.
Seen it.
That sounds quite good. Yeah,
I think it's just gone up. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, well, don't watch it now, people. Keep watching us. Watch it after.
Yeah.
Come to you, Matt.
Watch it when we watch it after the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have a shared experience.
Just like Ricky said, when we're done, then you flip over to that one.
Then switch over.
We can do it all together.
So you can go and watch that. We'll try and get through the rest of those. And funnily enough, the goal, which we're going to come on to now, after that, we just saw the game out professionally. I thought it was a really, really quality performance by Spurs. 67 minutes, Sarr on for Johnson. 70th minute, Matt coming round to you. This Porro goal, obviously a shot, wasn't it? Even though, no, he said it was a cross. Just talk us through this.
It's a goal.
This strike.
I don't really know where to start with it. I think it's just I want to say that maybe Porro really did intend it. Maybe he saw that the keeper was coming out a little too much. We've seen a few goals like that from him. I think this is not his first. I don't even think it's his second like this. I think he's had 3 like this now. But I think, finally we got a little bit of like lady luck on our side. The football gods have been really poor to us this season. They have like smited us or smote us, whatever you want to say, throughout the entire season. So, I mean, just listen, you can't win the lotto if you don't buy a ticket. I guess it makes sense that you're throwing that cross in. You got Solanke. It looks like he's going to be making that far post run right there if you look at that still. And then I think I think that's Tell, because I could see his white cast right there on his arm. And then I think that might be Udogie on the far post. So, I mean, it seems like he meant it to be a cross. But at the same time, who cares? Goal at the end of the day, it's going to show up as a 70th minute goal. And it's the 5th goal in the tie against Bodø Glimt to take us to the final. So
Absolutely.
that was when I started celebrating. Just like Ricky said, it's funny. My notes were very copious, extremely copious, until I got to the 70th minute, and then it was, we are going to a European final. Oh, Cuddy with a rugby tackle. I did like that. That was great. And no card. That was great.
There's always one of them in a game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a laugh about the penalty at the penalty claim at the end. And I was just like, oh, come on. This is, but I'm kind of in and out at that point. I'm kind of celebrating. I got this. It says finals right here. Just finals. That's what I was doing with my free time. I was just like, la, 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 plastic pitch. Ha, 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 ha.
Matt, do you know all I wrote after the goal was 88th minute easy save by Vicario, professional performance by Spurs. And then, as you mentioned, the penalty, Bodø denied a penalty by VAR. You can tell they said
denied
on the television that, you can tell by a player's reaction that Porro knew he got that ball, and you kind of knew. So I only had to see it once, and the referee only had to have a quick look. He got the ball quite clearly. And, of course, Spurs run out 2-0 winners, and we're through to a final against Manchester United, which probably another discussion for another day. We could talk about that. I'm sure we will do a podcast on how we're going to do in that game, what people think. There's plenty to discuss about that.
But Craig,
it's going to be juicy. It's going to be juicy.
I mean, you've done fantastic tonight hosting, asking all the questions, my friend. But how did you feel watching that game throughout it? I mean, like, it was a mental one, and you've been hosting some of the losses, So you've taken on. It's been crazy, bro. It's been a tough old season for us all,
Yeah.
So watching that game and then getting to the end, getting that second goal. And getting to the end and that final whistle being blown and looking at those fans celebrating out there and knowing that one of our own, Chris Cowling, is amongst it, bro. Like, it had a lump in my throat. My heart was
the
going.
relief.
The hair was going here. I was like, oh my God, we've done it again, bro. But how did you feel, my friend?
How did I feel?
Tell us what you was thinking, man.
Do you know what? I can't remember whether I said in the green room or on air. I was actually really calm. And I said in our chat all week, we're going to qualify. We're there. I was just so confident. For some reason, I don't know why, I was pretty unstressed throughout the whole game. I really was. And I did not feel like that. I mean, bearing in mind, I'm sure everybody knows today marks exactly 6 years since the semi-final with Ajax. And I felt totally different. And we was talking, I was saying to my son, I said, God, can you remember what it was like in our living room watching that game when we beat Ajax? It's just a totally different feeling. And it's not because it's only the Europa League ahead of the Champions League. It's not that. It's a major European final. Let's be honest. It was just the way the game went. And it was almost knowing after we'd scored the first goal that we were definitely there. It was a very stress-free night for me personally. So yeah, it's the final is going to be a different thing. Let me be honest with you. I was quite relaxed, Rick.
Did you have a Norwegian spa beforehand, Craig?
I wish I had.
Sauna.
I wish I had. Yeah, could have had could have had one there. That would have helped. Right, what we've got before we do a very quick Crystal Palace preview. We've got an 8-minute, so he must have been happy, an 8-minute Ange press conference after the game. So sit back and enjoy this.
Yes, come on, Ange.
Let's go. It felt like a night when everything went to plan, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the players were outstanding. They're well prepared tonight. The staff did a great job in sort of making sure the boys were really clear about what we needed to do, and they executed it perfectly. It's as well, it's been well chronicled over the last few days. It's a difficult place to come to. They've got a really imposing home record, not just with wins but with goals. And I thought the lads just handled it really well, as they have throughout this sort of European campaign, particularly the knockout stages. And credit to them. I thought they did an outstanding job.
Okay.
Praise the players there, but how proud are you, after everything you've gone through this season, to be leading this side out in a Europa League final?
Yeah, look, I guess it's a great opportunity. It's kind of fourth year in European football. There are plenty of people who've been in European football for a lot longer than I have that haven't got to a final. So you kind of understand that, it's something that you need to kind of appreciate, and I certainly do that. I haven't really thought a lot about it because obviously the focus is on tonight, but more importantly, just really sort of pleased for the players and the staff, and particularly our supporters. There's a few hundred here tonight who sure will remember this night, and thousands back home who we've given them some real hope and something to dream about, that we can do something special this year.
And congratulations. Can I get your reaction to just getting United in the final? Obviously an all-English game. The stakes are high. Obviously both of you have struggled domestically this season, but it's a chance to win the trophy and get back into the Champions League as well.
Yeah, well, that's going to upset a lot of people, isn't it? There'll be debates now raging. I've heard the latest one is that neither of us will be able to get a trophy if we win. We're just going to take a team photo because we're not worthy. I mean, who cares if we're struggled in the league? Why is that important when, if it's so easy to get to a final, then why doesn't everyone who finishes in the top three do it? I mean, it's a separate thing. It's got nothing to do with league form. We understand our league form hasn't been great. We understand the struggles we've had. And a lot of them are because of the situation we've been in, but how that diminishes the achievement of getting to a final. Like I said, this club and others have finished, in first, second or third in the Premier League or, and haven't made finals. So, why should that be diminished? I couldn't care less who's struggling, who's not. It's going to be, I think both us and Manchester United have earned the right to be there. I think we've probably beaten teams that will be in the Champions League next year on our road to getting there. So looking forward to it. Should be a great game.
Tom.
And we know how much you love free-flowing football and attacking teams. But how much satisfaction do you take from tonight, the kind of resilience and organisation, gutsiness?
Mate, I love winning. That's all I've done my whole career. People are dismissive of it, that's fine, but I love winning, and I love the way the boys, like I said, clearly understood what we needed to do tonight. The key thing for us was not to allow them to get any sort of rhythm in their game. They like to play at a quick tempo because they're used to the surface. They take advantage of the opposition being uncertain on it. But I thought our press was just outstanding, and that we never allowed them really to get into our half with any sort of clean possession. And it's a credit to the boys that they understood what the sort of task was tonight, and then we still had the quality to score the goals we did.
Matt.
United have constantly said that this competition won't save their season. The managers said it and players have said it. Would it save Tottenham's season? Is it different for Tottenham?
Why do I care what Man United think? Why is that relevant to me? So ask the Manchester United manager why he says that. Me, I've said all along that this is important. Now,
what does it mean for yours? What does it mean for Tottenham's season then?
Well, to be fair, you know better than me. You follow this club probably more than I have. What do you think a trophy would do for this club? Exactly right. So the question answers itself. It's like it doesn't need me to. But you know what? What's happening right now is that people are fearing that it actually might happen. And because it might happen, let's see how we can tear it down somehow, diminish it somehow by, saying that it's been a poor season and it's, we don't deserve this or we don't deserve that, or somehow comparing us to Manchester United. Maybe if we had Manchester United's success, maybe I'd have a different view. But I came into this role, like you said, you know better than me. I could have been sitting here exactly the same time in 5th position. And I guarantee you the commentary around me would be, well, that's great, Ange, but this club needs to win something. That's exactly what everyone would be saying. So Of course it's massive. Of course it is. Because you have to frame it against what, this club has been through over the last 15, 20 years, what the supporters have been through. Man United have got their own, journey to go on, and maybe if they go 15 years without winning something, they'll change their perspective on things as well.
Jacob.
United obviously a team that kind of have a knack of winning trophies in the last couple of years, but when you see the kind of professionalism and resilience that your team have shown in the away games in Europe, do you see that they're ready mentally for this final?
Look, it's, again, sort of a final's a kind of unique sort of standalone game. It's, it's a bit different to everything that you do in the build-up to it. So, but if you're talking about resilience and adversity, this group of players has had it in bucket loads this year. We're still dealing with it. We're losing players, key players, and yet, they've still found a way to stick together, to believe in what we're doing, and that gives me the belief that the challenge we have of trying to overcome a sort of tough opponent in a massive game. I know the lads have got it within them to rise to that.
George.
Hi, and many congratulations. You've spoken many times about growing up and watching English football, and in particular European finals with your dad. What do you think your dad would have made of his son being happy in a European final?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know, there will be a time when I reflect on all this stuff, but, it's just, I got friends who I grew up with who are now, they're probably booking tickets to Bilbao that, for all intents and purposes, I'll be on the touchline, but almost with the imposter syndrome, I should be in the stands with them, because that's where I've come from. But it's it's my fourth year in European football, and I get the opportunity to lead a team out in a European final. I think that's it's something I will look back on, but I'd rather look back on it fondly with a positive memory on the day. But yeah, not just my dad, my family. My wife was amongst the few hundred here today, cheering on with the away end, and credit to her. And two boys, it was a school night, but I promised them a trip to Bilbao if we got through. So there's so many people that who take the knocks and feel it more than I do. I'm sure they're proud of me tonight, but more importantly, I'm just pleased I can always give back to them who made the most sacrifices.
We have a special guest.
Yeah.
Live from Norway.
From the Arctic Circle.
What's
I
up?
was gonna say good evening, but it's actually good morning because it is actually 1:30 here. But I couldn't not come on this podcast. Ricky sent me a message earlier and said, "You've got to come on." And I thought, of course I've got to come on. But Ange there says about how proud he is of the players. I tell you what, I am so proud. The fans were unbelievable this evening, and the players just look so happy. And it's probably the happiest I've ever seen Ange Postecoglou. He absolutely lapped it up at the end in front of the fans. And we thoroughly deserve to be in this final. I tell you what, I know you guys know that I've already booked the trip to the final to go to Bilbao. Really, really looking forward to it. And we do thoroughly deserve to be there. The two legs against Frankfurt, home and away, we were brilliant. We've been brilliant in both of these legs. And, fair play to the Bodø Glimt fans because they have been unbelievable. They have congratulated every single Tottenham Hotspur fan this evening. And they have been absolutely awesome. So big up to them, and big up to their manager as well, because he actually came to the away end and the other section that I was in the stadium, applauding Tottenham getting through to the final. So it says a lot about them as a football club, and the people here, unbelievable. But it has been a really, really special night, and I hope you've enjoyed being on this podcast, the four of you, talking about this glorious win and talking about us going into another European final. I did actually put a quiz question out earlier saying that who is the only North London club to reach a European final in 2025? I think we all know the answer, but can't help a little bit of banter every now and then. Yeah, very cheeky.
Yeah, unbelievable. But of course, one more game, we've got to go that one step further now and lift the trophy. And you guys have probably already said it. 6 years ago, we lived a very special night, Ajax in Amsterdam, and went to that Champions League final. It wasn't to be our year in 2019, but let's hope in 2025 is our year.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well
Chris.
said.
Come on,
Yeah.
sunshine.
Well said, Chris.
It has to be the green kit. It has to be the green kit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Matt and Ricky, of course, you've got the right colours on, but yeah, I really do hope that 2025 is our year, and I really do hope that Ange Postecoglou lifts that trophy, because I'd love to see him go into that press conference after the game and say, "There you are. I told you I always win in my second season." I know we've spoken a lot about Ange Postecoglou on the podcast over the last season or so, and yes, we've been through lots of difficult times in league competition, but I just would love to see him deliver this trophy at the football club.
Chris, what was how was the away fans with Ange tonight? Were they singing his name, or were they must
Interestingly, I'm glad you've actually asked that, Craig. I didn't hear anyone sing Ange Postecoglou's name. And for most of the time, he actually stayed at the back of the celebrations. And then after a little while, he went more forward. But where he mentioned in the press conference there, his wife was in a section of the stadium, same one as me, actually. And he went over and waved, and he looked so happy. The smile on his face was very, very different to what I've seen before. And for him to guide Spurs into a European final, you could tell what it meant to him. You could tell what it meant to the family. And the fans were so happy, and when he looked up at the fans, he could see the smiles on all of our faces. He knew what it meant to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well that
the whole way through the game, Chris, I was every time it would pan to the fans, I was like, "Where's Chris? Where's Chris? Where is he?" I was looking for you, bro.
We were all looking.
do you know what the thing that I'm quite happy for us to be underdogs. I am.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the media are not going to want us, certain sections of the media, let's not tar them all with the same brush, but that people are going to, some people, some outlets are going to hate it, absolutely hate it that we're in the final, and are going to be desperate for us to lose. So I hope Man U takes all that chatter away and just lets us do it, because it would shut a lot of people up, wouldn't it?
I mean, they're already upset about it. You saw how many Manchester United questions there were in that press conference. I counted 3, and I think we were only watching 4 minutes. And Ange had every right to fire back, and for rightly so. Why aren't questions posed to Ruben or talk to them? Can't we just be happy and just take in the moment? Just ask Ange something else. Just say, congratulations. The team has been through a lot. You guys fully deserve it. Are you guys thrilled? What do you plan on doing? Yeah, we plan on getting drunk.
No, but Matty, it's not even that. It's the indirect question, right? So they're like, "Are you impressed with the way that there was grit and determination?" And he's like, it's an underhanded question, right? It's a dig, really and truly.
It's loaded.
They're trying to imply that was the players that took it on themselves, or it had nothing to do with him, or it had nothing to do with his tactics or his work on the training field. And it's that type of question that they keep just digging at him. And I'm glad that he fired back exactly like you, Matt. This is what I'm saying. Look how much it meant to him. He fired back about the Man United question. What does that have to do with us? Exactly. It's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what all of us fans were thinking. What does that have to do with us? What he thinks about the trophy. And just said the whole way through how much he's, he has treated this trophy with the respect that it deserves. And you know what, Chris, of all people, bro, you've wanted that. You have wanted that for them, for the manager and the side to take a trophy with the same importance and the same respect and the same endeavor as we want it to be. And he put that out there tonight. He also spoke about his family and his heart. Having a manager with heart is different, man. It's different. It's different than fundamental robot tactics and a file on Kieran Trippier and Harry crosses the ball. It's different when you've got somebody with heart, man. And that's what I've needed, man. I've needed that. I needed to see it.
Do you know George Sessions there in the press conference asking Ange about what his dad would have felt? Do you know what? As soon as that full-time whistle went, I felt so emotional, the fact that we are in a Europa League final. I think actually I would have probably cried on this podcast if I was on it for the entirety, because we don't have these moments very often as Spurs fans. 6 years ago we got into the Champions League final. As I said, it didn't work out, but 6 years later, here we are. We're now in the Europa League final. I just hope that these players really do take this opportunity and do become heroes, and don't be known for being the team that finished 16th or 17th in the Premier League table. Be known for lifting that trophy. Be known for being successful. And I cannot wait to see the team go down that high road, lifting that trophy. That is the dream. That is exactly what I want to see. But I know there's a lot of work to do yet. On the 21st of May, which is just under 13 days time now, we'll be in Bilbao. Hopefully singing. Yeah, it's not long away. It's not long away, and we've beaten Manchester United 3 times this season already. We've got to do it again. I know there will be some very pessimistic Spurs fans saying, "Well, the only one that's going to matter. Stop all this nonsense. Let's just believe that we are going to do this."
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
right. That's right.
And do you know what as well? I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. It's totally
right. It's like that. We're full of emotions, and just about heart and everything. We still have hearts. Hey, Spurs haven't killed us yet. We still feel something in there. It's right. It's great.
Go on,
Craig,
Chris.
I'm very sorry to gatecrash this, so I'm going to go. I'm going to leave you guys to it. Lovely to talk to you all. And thank you so much for being a part of the Spurs Chat podcast. And let's hope that we're doing one on the 21st of May, and let's hope we're all smiling.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, Chris.
Big ups,
Have a good one.
Safe journey.
See you later, Chris.
See you soon.
See ya. I've just totally forgotten what I was going to say. I was going to make a really good point, and it's just gone out of my head. I don't know what it was. Anyway, it's closing in on 20-1 here. So thanks to the 1,282 people watching us across all the platforms. Let's just do a very quick Crystal Palace. Bearing in mind, we've got 2 Premier League games before that final. It's Crystal Palace, and then we've got Villa. So I think, and the Villa's been moved to the Friday, obviously. So it will be interesting to see not only what sort of team Ange picks for Palace on Sunday, but also for the Villa game. So, Rick, very quickly, what sort of team do you think we're going to see? Cover both ties if you want, and give me a score prediction for Sunday.
For me, bro, I would go like full 11 swap. Do you know what I mean? Apart from those that coming back from injury that need minutes. So, for example, someone like Richarlison that might need, a 45 or some or a half an hour at the end of the game. But for me, the next 2 games, I would even go Kinski in goal. Someone like Kulusevski needs to play. I think he still needs to stay. He needs to get back into his rhythm. I felt he done well tonight, but I would see him playing some part just to get him back into rhythm, and whoever else that is coming back in that needs those minutes. But I would go full 11. I would, Danzo, Davies, Archie Gray, Spence, whoever we can put. And I would love to see Mikey Moore a bit more. And I would love to see Ajayi. I wanted to see more of Ajayi ever since they come on against Craig. Who did they come on against? They all scored.
Carabag? Carabag?
No,
it wasn't. Carabag was...
we was at home, weren't we?
Yeah, we was at home. They all scored.
Ed. It was
yes, it was Elversberg. Elversberg.
They got it done.
Yeah, Elfsborg. Well done. We got there. We've all been drinking. It's fine.
Hey, there's still a brain. There's still a memory in there. It's great. Again, Spurs haven't killed us yet.
We got there in the end.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? That was, and I think that's part of this journey as well, right? When we saw that Elfsborg game, And those young ones stepped up for us. Dane Scarlett, Ajayi, and then Mikey Moore scored. Like, you know, Bergvall was immense. Rule Fox.
The Rule Fox joke, it always comes up.
Those boys were part of this journey, and I think they're a special part of this journey. And I think in these next 2 games, I think that they should have a lot of game time, if not start them, or, you know, but get those players in, man. Those that need game time, okay, fine. For fitness, fine. Keep managing the minutes, because Andrew's done fantastic at that for this competition. So keep managing the minutes, but at the same time, it's different 11. Take out Vicario, put Kinski in, let him have a run, or even Austin, because Austin's the forgotten man. I think we should. I think every Tottenham fan should send Austin some love, because, you know, he came in when we was down to our third goalkeeper at that point. Played a fantastic game against Newcastle, but we already signed Kinski at that point, and then Kinski came in, but he done fantastic in the Europa League at Hoffenheim. That was a game that I went to. That was my first away game on this Europa journey. But I felt he was fantastic, and somebody who's been sitting there waiting for so long to play for Tottenham and to have a part of this journey. His name has to be remembered as well for getting us to this point too. I think Austin has done fantastic. So even if he wants to get a game, like, give him a game. Why not? I'd go up front.
Timo Werner.
Craig, we can do it.
Timo
No
Werner,
Timo. Yes, Scott.
No
Timo.
Timo.
Right.
Poor Timo is just getting shrapnel all the time.
He is. Rick, give us a score prediction. Give us a score
I'm gonna
prediction
go
for Sunday.
2-1 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham. Matt, what do you think?
The Palace against Palace. I think we could do 2-1, but I mean, you know, 1-1, 2-1. What's the point? As long as we get some minutes in the tank, you know, about 30 minutes for some of the players who played today. But like you said, Mikey Moore, I want to see some of these youngsters get Odebert out there, you know, so he could become like, you know, a little bit more into form. Maybe play Kulusevski for 20 minutes at the end, you know, just to get his form going, keep, you know, just to try to keep him fresh. But yeah, 2-1 or 1-1 doesn't really matter, as long as we got no injuries.
It's all about the 21st, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Blake, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to see a big rotation for this one, to be honest. I think Kinski's a good idea. Put Vicario in, wrap him in cotton wool, put the defenders in cotton wool. I would say it's either going to be a 1-1, 2-2 draw, something like that. I think it'd be very similar to El Crapico. I think they were calling it against West Ham. Just not much, not much heart and in that game, but I think it's just about rotating. And if we need to give players minutes, then let's get it done. But on the same coin, you do have to prepare well for this final as well. So you got to get guys minutes. I don't know how far away Sonny is. Maybe getting some minutes into him.
He might get some minutes Sunday. Yeah, he might be ready Sunday,
which is good. That's a great opportunity for him to get some form and get some match fitness back in. But I'm going a 2-2 draw against Palace, I think.
That's cool. Well, certainly for the Villa game for me, I'd put the whole first team squad, put them under a blanket, give them a night off, watch Netflix on a Friday night, or watch a game on the telly. That'd be it for me. Right, guys.
Have a massage.
Thanks. Yeah, have a massage. Yeah, have a sauna. Guys,
they are not going up to. They are definitely not going up to Birmingham.
No, keep them indoors.
Staying home.
Keep them at Hotspur way with those nice pillows Mourinho spoke about. Just have a kip, lads. Have a kip. Guys, thanks for joining me tonight. It's been really good fun. It's been an enjoyable podcast because we've won and obviously we're through to the final. Rick, thanks for joining me. Where can people find you and what you're up to?
You guys know where you can find me. You're going to find me here on the Spurs Chat podcast on the final. Either which way, I'll be here, all right? But yes, I'm keeping really busy. I'm hosting a show tomorrow at AFC Wimbledon. It's a night with Danny Dyer. It's a charity night, so I'm going to be hosting that tomorrow. And got loads of other projects coming up. But you know what? I just want to send loads of love out to all those fans out there in the Arctic Circle that went out, that traveled out. I want to send big love out to Chris, our guy that goes home and away, under 21s, under 16, women's football, the lot. He does the lot. And I just want to send big love out to all of you Tottenham fans that after this horrendous season, we needed something to smile about. We needed something to wear our tops about. We needed something to be in the sunshine about. and be happy that we are Tottenham Hotspur FC. So all there is for say, like, let's keep it going. I'm sending loads of love out to you guys, and I'll see you very, very soon at that damn final. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Nice one, Rick. Well, while everybody's looking at Ricky Nord's lovely face there, scan that QR code. Scan the QR code and get your match bingo cards, because it is really good fun. Matt, where can people find you? And what you up to?
I don't have any social media, so I'll just be jumping on this show every now and again. You know, I just prefer to spread my opinion this way. I don't like to be on the phone too much with all that. So, I mean, it's just fantastic to like speak with other Spurs fans who are like really well versed in what's going on and a lot of the pain that we've been through and the suffering, and we can kind of like commiserate together. And now we just have this like fantastic moment and this fantastic opportunity. And it's just like I feel, like in the Grinch where the heart grows like 5 times or whatever in the cartoon, like that, it was like, oh my God, there's something warm in there. I feel something again. This is fantastic. So, I mean, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Craig, Chris, you guys have done great work. Barnaby always does great reaction shows. I always see him going through it, especially at the end of the matches. But, Blake, Ricky, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you guys sharing opinions with us. And yeah, come on, you Spurs. Let's bring home that cup, baby.
Let's hope so. Let's hope we do. And Blake, where can people find you?
Oh, lovely, guys. Not super active on socials, on Instagram and X a little bit. But I'm very much the same as the other guys. I love coming on the Spurs Chat podcast. And Craig and Chris, you guys do such an amazing job. Rick, I love your positivity, man. My London brother. Honestly, mate, it just brings so much joy. Matt, it's been great being on with you for the first time. And honestly, it's a pleasure to always be here. And we have to savor these moments. It's not often that you get to go to a European final. It's hard to win things. It's hard. We know that as Spurs fans. And it's been great chewing the fat with you guys tonight. And big ups to everyone that tunes in, and give it a like and subscribe. This show deserves all the love. And it's been a great show. So thanks so much, legends.
Thanks, Blake. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I might sound really old here, but if you told me 20 years ago I'd be sitting in front of a screen talking to a guy that's not a million miles away from where I live, in the exact way, and then we've got a guy in New Jersey and a guy in Australia about a Tottenham match, I would not have believed you, quite frankly, or had thousands of people watching us, which is just mental. But thanks so much for all your support. We'll see you again. We got Palace at the weekend. Don't forget that. I'm sure thoughts are going to be on the final, to be honest. And I think the league's done, isn't it? But they're going to want to put in a performance. So let's see how that one goes. But until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. Come on, you Spurs. We're in a final.
Come on.
Come on.